Bonjour. A great week this week. You know the weeks I love. You know the weeks I love. 18 books. 18 books that both Paul and Alex served me up with today. Bonjour to both of you. Comics and Fantasy, Hornchurch, Essex. Details on my page. Check them out if you're local. Let's get right into it. 6 of the best, starting with this. This was so weird and wonderful. I've been a Captain America collector for all my life. This Captain America and Daredevil are my favourite characters. But I've got to say, of late, the Captain America titles have not been good. Have not been good. That, I wouldn't say was the best Captain America book I've ever read, but was such a weird and wonderful odd bod of a comic. And The Unforgiven, I really do enjoy. I enjoyed the Spider-Man one that I reviewed a while back, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and I really do enjoy the Unforgiven book. So, but I enjoy all the monster books. So from that, let's have a little bit of Darkwing Duck. Yes, it is going to be in the 6 of my best again. All right, but I think I did. I think I've skipped an issue or two. And I have skipped an issue or two of this as well. This is the penultimate issue. Absolutely sensational. And it had the misfortune of coming out the same week as my book of the week that I've chosen. Otherwise, that could have stood a chance. Could have stood a very, very good chance. And Captain America turns it up. Yay. This was interesting. As an issue 1. Bright and breezy. Not the best Warlock I've ever read, because that was years ago, and I'm going to do a separate video on Warlock. I think he deserves it, because I've been rereading and picking some stuff up from Mars and that for Warlock. So I'll just do a separate little video on Warlock. Last issue of this, and again, this has been a consistently great, a well-crafted story, and just amazing art from Skarsgård, how do you pronounce his name? Ringard. Sensational. I won't go through the entire, because it's just got that nice sci-fi kind of twist ending. So I won't go completely through that. You know what I'm like anyway. I'll do a nice skip through. Book of the week. Oh, this big bad boy. Can I fit it in the screen? Oh, this is issue 2 of this. I know I've done issue 1 of this. Whoever's idea it was to do this format, this artwork, they deserve the Nobel Art Prize. And so that's my 6. That's my 6 of the best I'm going to do a deep dive on, or 6 of the most interesting. Because got to admit that the Warlock one wasn't the best, but it's an interesting book nevertheless. Few also runs Exo Man of War. Now I was late doing issue 1 of this, so I won't do it that quick again. But keeps up you can kind of see a theme here, can't you, with Mad books, with the Forged, All Against All, that Unforgiven, Captain America team up. You know, they are as mad as a bag of frogs, all these comics, and I love them to death. This. Now, I know I don't do enough DC, guys. I know I don't, but I've never been that way inclined. So, and you know, at the moment, it's indies for me anyway. So, you know, above Marvel, which is sad for me to say. It's really sad for me to say. But this Superman title is well worth a read. I really do thoroughly recommend it. It's kind of pointless me going through it though as a 6 of the best, because I did go through issues 1 and 2, and that was only recently. So, you know, we'll have a skip on that, and we'll get back to that. This continues to be a weird little tale, right up my street. Weird little horror tale set in the rock, you know, the heavy metal music scene, and Amazing Spider-Man. Now, it's finally kind of lifting off a bit, but I just want to spend a minute or two. It's finally lifting off a bit, right? And you've got Zeb Wells on the writing, But you've got John Romita Jr. on the artwork, a legend, and he deserves to be on one of the top books for one of the big two, right? But what I will say about this Spider-Man is, it is decent enough. But this is your flagship book for your flagship character. If you was a publisher, I've got to say, this isn't, it doesn't strike me as the big book. Like when X-Men ruled the waves, then, you know, you had Claremont and John Byrne on it, or whatever team up of creators you had on it. You had your top of the shop. Over at DC with Batman and with Superman, you have your top of the shop and everything's honed in, and then you've got all your also ran titles. You know, you've got your titles where you do off-key stories, some lesser down characters and all the rest of it. But your main book, one thing struck me this week with this is that, yeah, it's all decent enough and it has got better. And it's an also ran only purely because it should be the glory of Spider-Man. This should be. I'm assuming this is Marvel's best-selling book. I'm assuming it is, and I hope it is. But it just doesn't come across. I don't know if that makes sense. It doesn't come across as a publisher's best-selling product as their figurehead, and it is. It's one of the most recognisable brands in the world. The film's done well. But with the Spidey books at the moment, you know, all the other stuff, like I'm saying, this shouldn't be an also-ran title. Shouldn't be an also-ran title. That should be the mega. And it has got better. So I'm not saying don't pick it up, because I'm purely, and Zeb Wells is a decent writer, don't get me wrong. But it's John Romita Jr.'s artwork that I'm picking it up for. And it did lose its way for a while, but let's see how we go with that. But I think it needs to be more. It just there's no kind of real oomph that this is your top of the shop. Anyway, let's leave it there. Join me after the scroll for the deep dive in the 6 of the best. Right, so here we go. Captain America and the Unforgiven. Love this team up. Tim Seeley does a great job of crafting, like I said, a story that is as mad as a bag, absolutely mad as a bag of frogs. Sid coaching on the art and Edgar Delgado on the art and colouring duties respectively. Love it. This was a top notch. Don't get me wrong, this is weird. I like the way this could be someone's first book. They're bringing us into the Unforgiven, and Captain America's tie in with it. It's just nicely done, but a properly weird team up. I mean, I did pick up just recently the John Byrne Captain America's, because you know, like a lot of you will already know, I sold off a lot of my own collection when I had shops years and years ago, and I'm re-buying them as they come up. And Poet Comics and Fantasy had some of the John Byrne Captain Americas with the Baron Blood storyline, and he mentions it in this. And the Baron Blood was tied up with the Invaders back in the day, so that made sense. They just about make sense about why Captain America would be teamed up with these guys. They just about make it work. But what a great romp of a story for one issue. If you're just going to pick up, like I say, fantastic artwork, a lot of story in here. There's a lot going on. Probably takes 2 reads to get to know it all. I just like the characters' designs. I like the style. I just love this team. I love the Unforgiven, and I love Captain America. So, like, this was a shoo-in for me. But I will say it is a weird one. It really is a weird one. teaming up character. There's something about it so quirky that I love it, but I don't know if it will suit everyone's taste. That's probably what I'm trying to get at. But as you can see, and it's it's set in New York, and it's a bit like the old Spider-Man whatever thing that they were doing when New York went mad. It's a bit like the same thing, making New York go mad again, and Cap and the Unforgiven have got to save the day-ish kind of thing, with the monsters running rampant. But I'm not, I'm not trying to do it a disservice by just going through the storyline in such a way. It draws in Man Thing as well, which I love. Wolverine, everyone's going to love it. So it's a great book, and again, what a good-looking team. Design-wise, I love this team. I'd love to see a regular book. I really would, with a decent horror writer on it, a decent artist. But the artwork on this, very, very nice, right up my alley, and suits the team so well. It really does. It really does, and all the horror shenanigans. So, yes, I am recommending that bad boy. First off, and second up is my old mate. This continues to just make me laugh, and I will make it quick so you don't have to skip it through. But he's still retired. But this is the issue. He comes back out of retirement. Look. She asked him a question about don't you miss the superhero life? Not at all. What makes you think that? This is the kind of stuff that just makes me giggle. And he's done a silhouette of Darkwing Duck in his long. That's just the classic stuff I love. Come on. I just love it. Anyway, the villain of the piece, what's he called? Bad Root or whatever it is. And he's come out of retirement. I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the neighbour's ill-timed leaf blower that wakes you too early in the morning. I am the shears that prune the weeds of destruction. And in brackets, look, I am the Darkwing Knight who returns. The Dark Knight. I am Darkwing. Oh, I just love this stuff. And his little invention here, Bushroot, sorry, that's his name. His little invention here. And he names it the Automizer. And he goes, no, you must mean the Automizer, you amateur. And he's going, no, look, it turns everything into autumn because it's a plant-based, hilarity ensues from there. I love this stuff. Gotta say, I don't read all the funny animal books by any means, but Amanda Bright, is it Amanda Breitbart her name? Amanda Dybart, who writes this book. Love it. I love it. She's got the shtick of a comedic character, like and I've seen in previous comic reviews, those Saturday morning cartoons, and there's his Morgana Duck, whatever her name is, like her dad's here, and yeah, I love it. The end. More shenanigans to follow next month. So anyway, I just couldn't resist putting that in to 6 of the best. Punisher issue 11. Same team as before, same team as always, all the way along, which is really, really nice. Jason Aaron writing, Jesus Seiss on the modern day bit, and Paul Azacaseta on the flashback bits, which are equally important, have been as equally important in this book. And in this issue, we are literally leading up. We've got the modern day superheroes that have had enough. Doctor Strange is trying to pull out all the magic out of the Punisher that's making him go, mad, and being a Moon Knight, Black Widow, Wolverine, Doctor Strange. This is a great mashup. All this. He's trying to pull all the stuff out of him. Look, because he's too powerful now. He's too big. They can't have the Punisher that powerful. This time, how they've mixed in, and we've seen this image before in his flashbacks. Love the way they've done it. And I love this as well. Stand down, Marine. That's an order. coming from Captain America and him doing Wolverine in, look, literally taking it in the hand, look, putting it back into his face. This is great stuff. But in this issue, the flashbacks, we are now at the day that Frank and Maria take the kids to the park. We're there. This is a great penultimate issue to build up to next month's final issue. And the colouring on this is sensational. Is absolutely beautiful. Just a great comic. This is just a great comic book. The artwork on the colouring on Moon Knight as well. On all of it. This is top notch. All this stuff. This is absolutely. When this comes out as a graphic novel, and they must do a 12 issue, because obviously this is issue 11. They've got to do 12 issues of this whole storyline. This stuff is beautiful. I've so enjoyed this book. And I'm hoping it will just be, and this is all the grief of, I'm going to kind of stop it here. Well, no, I'll tell you what, Maria's finding out what Frank actually did after she died. I'll give you that little snippet. Because I can't imagine many people are watching this thinking I'll go back and get all the other 10 issues and get this. So that's no spoiler. What she's done, what he has done in her name and the kid's name since she died. I just thought this was nicely done, and it had such a nice echo of Steve Dillon in this montage bit. I don't know why I thought that, but Steve Dillon come to me straight away, and I will leave it there. Because that is that'll be a fantastic graphic novel. Just pick this up if you can. Get the back issues. For me, I always like picking up because I'm an old crusty. But any which way you read that run of Punisher, you will not be disappointed. They've tackled some great stuff in that. This is so interesting to me because I've just recently picked up some of the old Warlock, the original Jim Starlin run from Strange Tales, and you've got the Dwarf here and what's his name? I should really write it all down, shouldn't I? Captain Marvel's son, Gamora, Ron Mars on the art and Ron Lim on the art duty, writing an artist, Ron Mars and Ron Lim. And again, they can do this shtick with their eyes closed. This is just fantastic stuff. I love it. This is comics. And it's quite a bit of a whimsy opening. Is that your mum or your dad? This little creature who's saying hello to. A little bit of whimsy to start with, but that's no bad thing. A little bit of, hilarity ensues. Infinity Watch, then Gamora and Pip the Troll. That's the one. Come along, and they are now introducing him into. We've got the Warlock origin there. Now this is what I can't wait to compare to Jim Starlin's style. And that doesn't mean that the writer and artist on this are doing a bad job. I just mean that how great things were back in the day. And how I bought the first appearance of Gamora again. This is where they're hiding and guarding the Infinity Stones. And Warlock is his brooding. For the page or two he's in, they've done him well. But obviously the big bad is going to be, and don't roll your eyes, is Eve Warlock. Right. I did the same thing. So if you're rolling your eyes and going, oh my God, they're just replacing another male Marvel character with another female character, please don't, because it is kind of making sense, and they are leaving it loose enough. They're leaving it loose enough for you to think that this is just a creation of an enemy set up against Captain Marvel, Adam Warlock, to get the Infinity Stones, to get the Soul Gem, whatever it is, right? But so I am giving this a chance. The only thing I would say is, and I know we're in different times now, but all this mystical energy and steam rather than have her come out of a cocoon fully dressed, and I know we're talking about magical creatures and beings and that, but this would have been so much better just to have you know, I know it's comics code, so this stuff covering her would have been such a more powerful, you know, even where her arm is there to cover her modesty. Why have they drawn this on? I've got a feeling that's how it might have been done. Otherwise, that arm and hand wouldn't be there. And I'm pretty sure all these, you know, all this Kirby-esque energy stuff, these energy bursts, you know, even Gamora's leg. Well, I know she's got her arm up, but even Gamora's leg would have been covering her modesty, while all the energy spots cover the rest. And I know it's only a comic. I know it's only a comic, but little things like that, I think, are unnecessary when you can just push yourself a little bit further. Just push it, guys, and it can just be so much better. All this, you know, all this energy stuff is still here. Look, it's all still here, which makes me wonder if it wasn't done that way in the first place, and it's all been toned down, and someone somewhere said, "Oh no, we've got to put a swimsuit on her." Just didn't. Nevertheless, it didn't spoil the comic. This is a good first issue, by the way. Good first issue. We want to see Adam Warlock unleashed, don't we? We want to see the Soul Gem. We want to see Pit Patrol. We want to see Adam Warlock unleash the Soul Gem. So I won't show you any more than that. I would say that's a solid first issue. I don't know how many issues they're going to do in this run. Whether it's a little mini series or not, maybe I should have researched that. But you know what I'm like. So more sci-fi. So we've gone from Adam Warlock to this sensational. Alex Packnadel and Caspar Wingard on the art has done such a fantastic job on this book. If you like your science fiction set in the far-flung future, you know, 25,000 years from now and all that, and you know, you've got weird and wonderful aliens, and humanity is gone. And humanity is a distant memory, and weird, you know, this is one of the aliens that has died and is in a kind of back to tank kind of thing. This female character, like young female character, that's her mum. That just gives you an indication of how weird and wonderful and wacky this book has been, combined with the remnants of Earth and how they have tried to experiment with our DNA and etc. on Earth, and how it hasn't gone very well. That's all I'll say. This is the last issue, so again, I'm not going to kind of the elongated fight scene that it's been building up to. But don't get me wrong, it's weaved all the strands of each of the elements of the story are all coming to fruition here. So I didn't mind it being the battle royale, but it's all coming to roost for certain characters. Now here's the staple. So we're kind of at the halfway mark, and it has a very, you know, beautiful design of the starships and all that. And it brings back one of the threads that they had from issue 1 and 2, which is the war. So they're experimenting on humans to try and find a weapon to wage war against their enemy. And you kind of have forgotten about it with the mad experiment, with the mad experimental stuff that they've gone through, and the monster that they've got you know, that is the human and the ape and all the rest of it, blah, blah. You kind of forgot about that, but they've brought it all back. So very, very well done to these guys. I love, I will get his name right, Caspar Wingard. Yeah, Caspar Wingard, I hope I got his name right. I just love his art style. I just love it. Perfectly suited this story. And his artwork has been in some of the DC books. He's just a great artist all round, but particularly in this book, I loved it. And I will leave it there because I don't want to spoil the last chapter of the story. And that's issue 5 of 5. Like I say, if you can't get these, I don't see why they might be out of print. I don't think it's the most sensationally best-selling thing since Walking Dead. So try and pick up the individual issues. I don't know, or if you prefer graphic novels, whatever floats your boat. And keeping it sci-fi. keeping it sci-fi, it's this bad boy. And I know I said it before, this is such a beautifully designed book. Just about fits in my little screen, doesn't it? But such a beautifully designed book, and in this aspect, in this extra large format, and it is a group of women space marines, all cloned from their Eternal Empress. Yeah, the DNA has come from the Eternal Empress. The spaceship they travelled down to this planet on in issue 1, it was crashing at the end of issue 1, and now it's crashing. They've got to set all of the necessary systems in their suits. You know, they're in an alien environment, so they're relying on these suits. Look at this artwork and colouring. Oh, look at this artwork. Where's the credits? Where's the credit? Right, Greg Rucka, Eric Troutman, Mike Henderson on the art. Colours, Nolan Woodard. I mean, just sensational between the 4 of them. Plus the lettering and all the rest of it. You know, don't get me wrong, this is all a team effort. Just this is beautiful stuff. Just I know I said it with issue 1. This is right up my alley. This stuff, this kind of sci-fi epic stuff on this scale. And now it's a bit like the Aliens film, the second Aliens, you know, the sequel Aliens, where they get to they get to encounter the indigenous population of this weird planet, this weird kind of almost glass planet. Look, and look at how the colouring just zaps out of this, including the lettering. Oh, it's just yeah, wonderful. And here we are. We've got the alien creatures taking off one of their arms. The suits, all of this stuff is done marvellously well. Again, look at that panel popping off the page, and they've done enough to do it around all the panels. Pure comic book storytelling. This, if you didn't have all of this stuff and you just had the colouring of the suits, you would know what trouble you would know what trouble they're in. And this is the sci-fi way that they repair a missing hand, but it's the 8th time she's kind of been wounded in combat, which you would expect, and you would expect the tech to live up to that kind of damage on Space Marines. Doing the autopsy, all standard stuff, but it's so well crafted into the whole. Absolutely, they use a mapping device here. Look, to kind of sonically map out and realise that that seismic activity attracts more of the creatures. So, they've slipped up. All the grenades, look, all the grenades from the battle suit. Nice. And then from that, here's the creatures, and then a long shot of vroom. Nice. I love all this stuff. Absolutely love all this stuff. Yeah, so again, I know I did issue 1. I've got a feeling I'm going to thoroughly recommend every issue of this because I can't contain myself. Because it literally blows everyone away. It blows every other comic away. I'm sorry, it just does. Visually, is it the most original storyline? I'll be honest, no, it's not, because I just used Aliens as but it has got enough originality in it. It isn't just doing Space Marines and they're all girls. It isn't that simple. There is a lot of originality in this. I love the tech, the way they use the tech in it. And these are the Cassandras. I think I've got to get that right, haven't I? I can't call it. It is a Cassandra. I'm sure it is. Yeah, Cassandras. They're also taken from the DNA of the High Empress, but these are telepaths and mystical beings rather than the Forged. The Forged are the army, the Space Marines, and the Cassandra that the team, apart from the leader, didn't know was on the ship, and now they're realising there's something serious going on here. There is something very serious going on here, and there's the last panel, the last word balloon of this comic sets up the next issue. Oh, so well, just so well. I can't, just literally already can't wait. But again, the colouring, how beautiful now this is handled. Now they're inside one of the rescue, one of the life ships, and just a subtler palette where they can take, the suits aren't off, but they can relax a little bit, but a subtler palette, no panel delineation. It's just a softer, she's turned up, but even so, she's not a soft character, believe you me. Look at the beautiful colouring on that. God, I can't praise this book enough. I'm going to just skip. Just going to skip. And I know I did this in issue 1, but I love this stuff where they go into the like a computer game and show you all of the details of the armour, the armours of each of the characters. This is brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. And someone has to sit down and create all this. You can tell how much enthusiasm and love they've got for it, which is what I love. I can't help but be enthused when I read all this stuff. And again, another excerpt from it, just giving us a little bit of back. It is a nice way, and I know Alan Moore used to do this a lot with a lot of his stuff. And I've only just thought of that actually. What did Alan Moore? There was Alan Moore. Perhaps you can help me out in the comments. But Alan Moore used to do I know he did it in Watchmen, didn't he? Where you would get a newspaper report or something, or a strip from the comic or whatever. But that was part of the actual comic narrative, wasn't it? But I just like the fact that they've included a lecture dialogue, or a feature from a magazine, like a cover letter accompanying a report. But this is all beautiful background knowledge. But you don't need it. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't read none of this yet. Because I'm going to read the comic again. I'll probably be reading issue 1 again and this again. And, just in an afternoon and taking all this in. Because it's great stuff. It's great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. But there we go. Next issue, more great. Oh, May. Oh, no, not too long. 6 weeks. So there we go. Book of the week. Now, having said all of that, and you know what I'm like with the old cover of the week. So I've got to say that's not a cover of the week, is it? At all. Now, I have done one of these before, the last Barbarian covers. I'm not sure if this is, but I did try and have a look inside to see if they had a credit for the cover, but I think it's Brian Haberlin. But again, you lot let me know if I'm wrong on that, because I'm just not sure. But the artwork is so beautiful on it. And again, Red Goblin, also a good read. Also good, and I can't put them all in. I can't put them all into the also rans. But I just look at it. I just look at the covers as in, is that a cover that would sell a comic? If it was back in the old newsstand days. I mean, I don't know if that would sell a Spider-Man book back in the day. Like, it's not exciting, is it? It's not exciting. It's like, robot Spider-Man head. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough intrigue there. Now, beautiful artwork on Superman. Like I say, a good book, and I've always got to have a bit of Liam Sharp, but I'm still not sure if that is a cover of the week, to attract a new reader. That, just for intrigue, Captain America in the middle of those of the Unforgiven. I've got to admit, it's got to be a contender. I think it's got to be a contender. Other than that, I mean, Punisher versus Captain America, issue 11. You know, Punisher with a sword. It's action packed. It's action packed. I mean, that's old school, isn't it? For me, I think this is old school. That's an old school comic cover. That's a horror comic cover. I think we're going to take Exo Man of War out of it. I think we'll take Superman out of it. I mean, Red Goblin. I mean, that's a. Again, I think I've done a cover or two of this before. The detail in it and the paint. I would hope that this is the old-fashioned. You know, he's used acrylics, or it wouldn't be oil, would it? But whatever he's done here, it's in the old-fashioned style. But that looks even more old-fashioned. Like I've said previously, it looks like it's watercolor and oils, or a mixture of both, or something. So yeah, Captain America was a runner-up. Red Goblin was a runner-up, I think. I'm just gonna go with that, just for a beautiful image for my cover of the week, with a title like The Last Barbarians and a cover like that. Yeah, that's going to be my cover of the week. And if you've still watched all that way through, or you might have skipped for certain issues, then I thank you if you're still here. If you want to give me a little like, and if you're a mentor, give me a subscribe. That I would really, really appreciate. It really does help, because YouTube are messing around with us all at the bottom rung of the ladder here, and it really does, it really does boost our chances of getting our videos seen if you like and comment, particularly, and share if you can. So I thank you for staying here this long, and thank you if you're going to like, subscribe and comment, and until next time, I'll bid everyone adios.